Welcome to The Explainer. Let's dive right in. We're looking at a deeply chilling mystery today. It's a story that uses these sudden supernatural shifts to explore some pretty heavy psychological themes, and it relies heavily on stark visual contrast to really pull us into a world where reality simply stops. Picture this for a second. You're just walking down the street. The wind is blowing, cars are rushing by, everything is moving at its normal, chaotic, everyday pace. And then, everything just stops, instantly, completely. That is the eerie anomaly plaguing the seemingly ordinary town of Millfield, a town where, for reasons absolutely nobody can explain, the universe literally hits the pause button.
Phase 1. The illusion of normalcy.
Okay, to really grasp how terrifying this freeze is, we first have to look at Noah Walker. Noah is 17, and he has lived his entire life in a perfectly predictable reality. He knows every street, every store, every shortcut, and every single face in town. Visually, it's a very sterile, almost boring aesthetic, right? It's the kind of place where you know exactly what is going to happen next. Well, except for one pretty massive disruption.
Every single day, Noah's grandfather goes through this highly obsessive, repetitive routine. At exactly 3:17 p.m., rain or shine, no exceptions, he executes these steps. Step 1, lock every door in the house. Step 2, lock every window. Step 3, draw every single curtain. It is quite literally a daily lockdown. When Noah was a kid, he just kind of accepted it. But as he got older, well, human curiosity naturally kicked in.
So one afternoon, Noah finally asks why, and his grandfather's reaction is completely chilling. The smile just drops. You see genuine fear in his eyes, and he quietly delivers this exact quote, "Because some questions are safer unanswered." Now, as you can imagine, telling a 17-year-old that a mystery is too dangerous to solve? Yeah, that basically guarantees they are going to try and solve it.
Phase 2. High contrast stasis.
Noah decides he's getting answers. Instead of heading home, he climbs up to the roof of an abandoned building overlooking the town. At 3:16 p.m., looking down, everything is perfectly normal. Birds are flying, cars are driving through the streets. But the second his phone clock flips to 3:17 p.m., the entire visual aesthetic of the world instantly shifts to pure minimalist stasis. The birds freeze mid-flap. The leaves stop falling. Even the clouds stop moving. It is total, terrifying silence.
The visual contrast here is just staggering. On one side, you have Noah. He is moving, he is breathing, and he is absolutely terrified. And on the other side, the vast, empty stasis of the entire town. A woman frozen mid-step crossing the street, a dog literally motionless in the middle of a bark, a cyclist hanging perfectly still balanced on two wheels. Just imagine the suffocating panic of realizing you are the only moving thing in a frozen world.
But then, out of nowhere, he hears footsteps. Across the street stands a girl. Her name is Ava. Dark hair, blue jacket, and she is actually moving through this frozen town. She looks unbelievably relieved to see Noah because, as she reveals, she has been trapped experiencing this exact freeze every single day for 3 solid weeks. And right as she explains this, boom, the clock hits 3:18 p.m. and the world resumes. Only 1 minute actually passed in real time.
Phase 3. The evidence board.
So Noah and Ava essentially team up as true crime investigators. They use that single frozen 1-minute window every day to scour the town. They explore stores, buildings, roads. And they discover this massive visual anomaly. Every frozen clock they find, every single shifted photograph, all point back exactly 20 years to one single date, October 17th, 2006. They have absolutely no idea why. But as they keep digging, the town itself starts to react to their investigation.
Really strange things start happening during that frozen minute. Old newspapers suddenly appear inside locked buildings. Street signs physically move. And then, this incredibly creepy message begins appearing on walls across the town. Do not let them remember.
The visual aesthetic just completely spirals into this chaotic, overlapping paranoia. Do not let them remember. It's written again and again.
Do not let them remember. The psychological pressure on Noah and Ava is at an absolute boiling point now as they follow these clues all the way down to an abandoned underground tunnel right beneath the old train station.
At the very end of this tunnel stands a rusted steel door. Painted across it are 4 words, "The truth stops here." The absolute second Noah's hand touches that metal door, that frozen silence shatters into a massive sensory explosion.
The ground starts shaking violently, the tunnel lights flicker wildly, a blaring siren echoes through the dark, and the door slowly opens.
Phase 4, warmth and resolution. What is behind that door changes everything. The chilling mystery melts away into this profound, tragic empathy. Inside, they find an overwhelming collection of evidence. We're talking hundreds of photographs, thousands of newspaper clippings, old police reports, missing person files. And all of these heartbreaking contents circle around one single subject: missing children, a massive storm, and unsolved cases.
It all comes down to this catastrophic timeline. On October 17, 2006, a brutal storm hit Millfield. During that storm, a school bus vanished without a trace. 23 children went missing. No survivors were ever found. The grief that hit this small community was so completely devastating that the town literally tried to lock the trauma away. They enforced a collective amnesia, simply because remembering was just too painful to bear.
But then, Noah looks closer at a photo of those 23 missing children, and he notices something that hits him like a freight train. Ava is in the photograph. Ava isn't some normal girl trapped in a time loop. She is eternally young. She's a ghost of one of those missing kids. And standing right next to her in that old photo, Noah's own grandfather, as a young boy. His grandfather was a classmate who survived. He grew old, but he was so paralyzed by survivor's guilt that he locked his doors every single day at the exact minute that bus disappeared.
As the frozen world literally begins collapsing around them, buildings cracking, lights exploding, Ava smiles this incredibly sad smile with a poignant realization: we never left. We were forgotten. The moment those words leave her lips, the physical evidence just vanishes. The dark tunnel dissolves into this warm, glowing light, and the air fills with the echoing voices of those 23 children, finally being acknowledged right before they fade away. The very next day, Noah goes to the town memorial. For the first time in 20 years, the whole town gathers. There are flowers covering the ground. Families are finally sharing stories. They are speaking the names aloud. The town is finally processing their collective grief and confronting the trauma they tried so hard to bury. And because they finally remembered, time never stopped at 3:17 p.m. ever again.
It's just an incredibly moving narrative, isn't it? It shows how suppressing trauma only freezes us in time, while remembrance is what actually allows us to move forward. Which leaves us with a pretty profound question to ponder today. What forgotten histories are waiting to be remembered in your own town? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this visual journey helped bring this fascinating story to life for you. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.